Hello, I'm Teresa Stanley. My paper is titled Type of Resources for Blended Learning Approach to Study High School Chemistry. So I'm from SMK Bandar Tun Hussein On 2 in Cheras, Selangor. My ID number is 9230. So the content will be starting off with introduction, then moving on will be the significance of the study, then there'll be the methodology, results, limitation, and finally conclusions. First, about the introduction, blended learning. So what is blended learning? It is a formal education program where face-to-face classroom methods are combined with computer-mediated activities. Students learn instruction via digital and online media with some elements of student control over time, place, part, or pace. Now moving on, blended learning is a 21st century learning approach that is a combination of online and physical classes. The students learn using technology where it is more students control the pace of studying. In a traditional classroom, students try to understand what the teacher is saying, and students may need time to grasp what the teacher is saying. When students take a longer time to understand what is being taught, they might be left behind as the concept has not been understood. While in blended classroom, the teacher will try to detect errors in thinking, writing, reading, listening, and at the same time, they are concentrating with the social constructivism theory by Vygotsky. Students learn from each other, which can promote active learning. They are helping each other, and this benefits them when blended classroom is implemented. So according to many scholars, Sirhan 2007 stated that abstractness of chemical concept, teacher-imposed learning models, and lack of teacher support, Woolman Manuel Atenga and Agnina 2014 as part of the reason why students find difficulties in studying chemistry. In this research, by reviewing the myriad of resources reported by different scholars in the past 10 years, it will help teachers choose the best resource for blended learning in high school teaching and learning chemistry. So this study investigates 8 papers published in the Scopus journal after filtering 29 articles from 2018 to 2021. Significance of the study. This is a guided approach towards implementation of blended learning. So scholars Burhan Evisa 2015 stated that blended learning combines the right technologies in lesson and develops a feasible teaching and learning environment. So Burhan Evisa 2015 emphasizes that well-prepared teachers will be able to create a successful blended learning classroom. Through this research, teachers will know how to choose suitable materials for schools by understanding blended learning. So blended learning will give flexibility, some variation including personalized learning, social interaction, and direct content learning in the school. Methodology. Starting with the resource. The purpose of this research is to investigate the published papers obtained from the Scopus from 2008 to 2021. by filtering using keywords, blended and learning, chemistry, and high school. 37 papers in a corpus were suitable for this study. 22 articles were non-related or unrelated to chemistry and were not involving high school students. So 6 were non-available pieces and only 8 were used in this research. Moving on, so the data distribution. So based on the analysis conducted, before 2016, there was no research conducted to contribute to literature on blended learning in chemistry. Since 2016, research have been keen on the research topic of blended learning with 2 papers every 2 years. There are more papers published at the beginning of 2020. In addition, there are 1 piece published in 2016. In 2018 and 2019, 2 papers were published and then peaked to reach the topmost publication for 3 articles in 2020. After peaking 3 articles, the figure dropped to 1 document in 2021. The number of publication melodramatic growth was in 2020, where there were 3 pieces of published articles. The results. So after the research, blended learning resources, one of the resources is experimental teaching. So based on research by Guanxin Sen, 2016 from China, and the research in 2018 from the United States, stated that using experimental learning suggested the use of virtual and real experiment as they complement each other. So according to the research, this combined learning can improve students' conceptual ideas. Second resource, gamification. So scholars Fitriana, Wirowski, Isan, and Soato 2020 use gamification in teaching and learning of hydrocarbon, which is in chemistry, and it is only effective when it is cooperated with Android-based games and blended learning compared to Android games alone. So based on research by Hodges that use gamification also, educational games with an hands-on laboratory experiment will provide an coherent explanation of scientific phenomenon together with an authentic scientific inquiry. Moving on, third, so we have the LMS, Learning Management System. So Nabihan has Tuti and Indrana 2019 indicated using modules to teach thermochemistry. So the using of LMS attracted the students' attention to chemistry, and thus it improved their metacognition skills. So LMS provides the resources for education to prepare more creative material for blended learning. So in 2020, scholars Ayub Halim and Zulkifli from Malaysia further supported this, which stated that LMS and its resources for blended learning has improved students' understanding. Finally, video, self-developed device, and assigned tasks are part of the materials used in blended learning. So Garcia 2020 from the United States found that using video for blended learning could improve student understanding of chemistry. The self-developed device by Hadis Putra, Isan Gunawan, and Ramdhani 2019 from Indonesia suggested blended learning promotes critical thinking. And moving on, scholars in 2021, Dai, Trang, Time, Hao, and An from Vietnam suggested the assigned tasks used in project-based learning further proposed the need to further investigate learning condition appropriate before incorporating blended learning. Limitation of this research. So this research is only limited for the time frame of 2008 to 2013, and the articles were limited to the subject of chemistry for high school and as well of blended learning. The articles searched were limited to only using Scopus Index Journal. There should be further research on more resources related to blended learning, as it is a 21st century classroom approach. Conclusion: blended learning resources are similarly served by or available through a system, and especially a computer or telecommunication system. So the resources used in high school chemistry include video games, modules, learning materials in LMS, and virtual experiments. So two research states that the use of virtual experiment as a resource for blended learning involving experiments accompanied by actual experiments. Scholars have noted that blended learning resources will be more effective if not limited to one kind of resource, and can always be a string of resources or materials including assessment. So with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you for watching. I'm Teresa Stanley.